I'm gonna go ahead and call the Ottumwa City Council special meeting to order, and if everybody's standing, we'll do the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you.
Probably pick that up and just,
Chris will go ahead and take the roll.
Councilmember Pope?
Here.
Councilmember Rowe?
Here.
Councilmember Galloway?
Here.
Councilmember Hoffman?
Here.
Councilmember McIntyre?
Here.
Mayor Johnson?
Here. The next item is to approve today's agenda. Is there a motion to approve our agenda for today?
So moved. Second.
Any further discussion? If not, Chris will go ahead and take the roll.
Councilmember Pope?
Yes.
Councilmember Rowe?
Yes.
Councilmember Galloway?
Yes.
Councilmember Hoffman?
Yes.
Councilmember McIntyre?
Yes.
So we will need someone to make a motion to remove the item from the table.
I'll make the
So
motion to
moved.
remove. I'll second.
Okay.
Don't open me.
Chris will go ahead and take the roll.
Councilmember Pope?
Yes.
Councilmember Rowe?
Yes.
Councilmember Galloway?
Yes.
Councilmember Hoffman?
Yes.
Councilmember McIntyre?
Yes.
And now I'll read it all for you. Receive and approve the annual urban renewal report for the Westgate Urban Renewal Area, Airport Urban Renewal Area, Wildwood Drive Highway 34 Urban Renewal Area, Hospital District Pennsylvania Avenue Corridor Urban Renewal Area, Vogel Urban Renewal Area, and Bonita Urban Renewal Area for the fiscal year of July 2022 through June 2023 for the city of Ottumwa, Iowa. Recommendation to approve the annual urban renewal report for fiscal year 2023.
Is there a motion to approve the recommendation?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, Phil?
Okay. Since last meeting, Tuesday night, the numbers have not changed. So your new report had the numbers I read off at the meeting. So they changed from the last report, but not from that night. There was one other minor change to the report, as City Clerk had mentioned. This report also includes Bonita Avenue now. That part was added. So like these districts here, those get added by the state. So I don't have the ability to add those. Like this Bonita one was processed prior to the end of this close of this year. So that is now added to the report. There aren't any taxing districts that have been affected by that yet. However, looking ahead to the next fiscal year, we will have to certify some debt to that with the Bonita Avenue apartments. I can't do that if that's not part of this. And that is for that 50% of the value that was going to be rebates for the apartments that were built on Bonita Avenue. There's one other piece that was added to that, and that is in Westgate, the Asbury project. The apartment buildings that are being built, those are also part of this, and they're in the Westgate district. And so that project was added to this report as well. So those are the only changes to the report other than the numbers that were reported on Tuesday night. So that changes this debt outstanding. And that is just what is set out there that we will collect over time. So it could be over 20 years. In the case of the Bonita Avenue apartments, that was 50% over 20 years.
I thought it was 10.
It was either 100% for 10 years
Oh,
or
right,
50% for
right,
20. And so it's over that 20. But we will be getting half of that value, as will all the other taxing jurisdictions for that period of time. So that part is added in here, and because that is year zero when it's put in here, that number is so much higher. Because it was, well, I can go to that part of the report actually. So this has all of the information as reported, all of the projects, the outstanding debt. So at Cobblestone Hotel, that has 2.4 million. They haven't received any payments yet on that. Every year that number will reduce. This hasn't been paid out yet. This was the 75,000 or up to 75,000 for what was underground they couldn't see. That'll be on the next year's report. That should come down, or I should say come off, because we'll have that as an expense rather than obligation. Here's the Asbury that I talked about. That was 3 payments of $62,000 each. if they met the marks. So one of those was the start date, so that we'll have that payment in the next fiscal year. And I think both other ones come in that next fiscal year as well. This was set up as a reimbursement back to the franchise fee allocation. So franchise fees was paying for that initially, those costs, and then was going to be reimbursed through the tax increment districts. So let's go down to Bonita. It's going to be the last one here now. That we just added. And so it's, oops, sorry, it's still Wildwood. Here it is, Bonita. So we don't have any taxing districts yet or anything reporting on here. We will see those. I should see those this next year. Here was the project. And 1.75 million, or up to 1.75 million over that 20 years. So that's the big difference in that outstanding debt there. Otherwise, like I said on Tuesday night, this is a report looking back at the prior fiscal year. These revenues and expenditures match up with the system, with what we received from TIF revenue and what we paid out through obligations, either debt service that was out there tied back to these projects, or specific Main Street has a payment coming out of here. SMID is tied in with this through the Westgate District. All of those payments that come out are part of this. And this is that annual report that we do. This gets reported to the state, tracked, can be found by anybody that looks that up. And
Where does it go to at the state?
Department of Management.
And that's due like December 1st or something every year.
Yep. And I believe you can look back at prior years and see what there is. Like I said, the biggest thing for us, I think, is we started out the year, the fiscal year at negative $971,000 and ended up at negative $100,000. There were some of these districts were significantly underperforming that based on the numbers that are now performing or overperforming. The only one that we had that performed at a negative level this last year was Wildwood. That one I think was $10,000 difference net value to the negative. So the expenses were $10,000 more than the revenue coming in for that area.
What oversight does the city have to make sure that they're not deficiting? And what can the city do about it if they are? Anything?
Well, the one thing we do is making sure that we certify enough tax increment revenue. And part of that is looking at what the districts have available and making sure that we're taking what we need to compensate for those. The other thing is, in some cases, they don't have enough revenue. And so there isn't much you can do other than limiting expenses that might be coming out of there, not approving projects in those districts that aren't performing at the moment. Unless that project is going to allow it to perform at a better level and you'll be able to compensate for that in the future. So I'd say just playing due diligence to any projects coming forward out of any of the urban renewal districts.
So if we did have a new project in any of those urban renewal areas, we could always look to see at that point before the council approved anything, whether or not they're performing where they need to or not.
Mm-hmm.
And that could be used as a rationale for maybe not approving something or scaling it back.
Yeah.
Does council have any questions for Phil? Carrie, we couldn't understand you.
I didn't say anything. I was just getting ready to vote.
Someone in the background came up through the speaker then.
Oh, okay.
So is there any other questions before we have Chris take the roll? If not, go ahead.
Councilmember Pope?
Yes.
Councilmember Rowe?
Yes.
Councilmember Galloway?
Yes.
Councilmember Hoffman?
Yes.
Councilmember McIntyre?
Yes.
Okay, that was the only agenda item we have, so does somebody want to make a motion to adjourn our special city council meeting?
Yo.
Is there a second?
Second.
Chris will take the roll.
Councilmember Pope,
Yes.
Councilmember Rowe,
Yes.
Councilmember Galloway,
Yes.
Councilmember Hoffman,
Yes.
Councilmember McIntyre.
Yes. Thank you, everybody, for being available today for this meeting.
First time anyone's ever said that.
Just trying to cut for a carriage.
Yes.